Hey YouTube, how are you doing? This is one of my first videos in a long time. I'd say almost 2 years since I've done a video where I actually talk over it, go over things. So it's been a long time. It feels good to finally do this again. I had stopped doing it for reasons, and either way, it's over and done with, and actually here I am again. So on to the subject of Battlefield 4. Very interesting game to say the least. As you know, I quit Battlefield 3 PC, went to Battlefield 3 Xbox for a while, competitively, and I enjoyed it on both platforms. Battlefield 3 actually is one of the few games I played for a long period of time. For anybody who knows me or doesn't know me, I'm a multi-gamer. I like to jump from game to game, play in tournaments in each game, hopefully win them, and then go to another game based off of what's going on. Battlefield 3 was one of the few games I actually kept playing while I was doing other things, surprisingly. So yeah, anyway, Battlefield 4 to me, it feels like a cleaned up version of Battlefield 3 with slower movement. Now, I have no idea how everybody else feels, but it feels like Battlefield 3 movement, it just kind of slowed down, or Battlefield 4's movement kind of slowed down a bit. That's just me, though. It's a weird feeling. I don't know what they did. Maybe it's because the maps are bigger, or not necessarily bigger, but they have taller depths to it. Maybe it just feels slower because of that, but I do feel like this movement has slowed down. Which isn't a bad thing, but at the same time, I don't know. From getting point to point, I did enjoy going a little faster, but that's just being a COD player. So that's how I feel on that aspect of things. Next, I do like how the game doesn't feel suppressed anymore. One of my biggest gripes, or whatever, I don't even know if that's a word. One of the things I hated the most about Battlefield 3 was suppression, and the map feeling like it was always foggy. It seems like now the game has got rid of that stuff that made it so, darker, and made it so every single time I got shot at enemy, I got suppressed, and I was like, "Raw suppression!" And if you didn't have somebody near you, or you didn't have the suppression perk, or whatever it was called, you were just gonna be, like, hammered in a corner going, "Wow, my screen's all blurry." So I'm glad they lessened that. That right there alone, I absolutely love about the game. I played both versions of the game, both Battlefield 4 on the Xbox and the PC. Both versions are alright. I've been very lucky, thankfully, as you can see in this video here. I don't really have much lag while playing. I do know a lot of people struggled with lag during the beta on the PC. So thankfully I was able to get through recording and doing all this. So it's good. The guns themselves, I like. I feel like there's a big gap in the actual guns themselves. I feel like the AK-12 is just an absolute insane gun. I feel like it's the gun to go to right now. Granted, they've only released a couple guns for the beta, so maybe there could be some better guns, but right now I feel like no matter what gun I use, the AK-12 was absolutely dominant. I don't like the engineer gun they start you with, the MX-4. I do know that when you unlock the AK-5C, it gets a little better, and it becomes a more bearable class to play, but for a while, there's like really no incentive to play the engineer outside of blowing up tanks, which I guess if that's what they want, that's great, but I'm a fragger, I like to run around, I like to be dumb, and, once again, my COD side of me coming into it. So yeah, for that, I've been playing mostly Domination. Conquest, I played Conquest, and I absolutely love Conquest and Battlefield, but that map, I felt like I literally was running around looking for people the whole time. I just felt like people were on roofs. I spent half the game just spawning in the middle and jumping off a roof parachute and hoping I could, like, shoot a chopper midair. I can needless to say I failed, and a lot of times I would just die, because the parachuting seems easier. I didn't play the later ends of Battlefield 3, so I don't know if they fixed it, but I did notice that the whole jumping and parachuting into a parachute thing is way better than it used to be. So, I'm glad they fixed that. Outside of that, I'll probably get into more detail about other parts of the game I like and dislike. This is kind of a quick video on that part of things. Next is on to the subject of esports and Battlefield. Sorry I keep saying it's kind of a habit. I watched and listened and read forums about what people think needs to be done for esports. I've been in many games now, esports-wise, and I'm currently playing in a game now. Hopefully, I'm playing Call of Duty, obviously, but hopefully Battlefield can take the same steps that Call of Duty did. Call of Duty was absolutely going nowhere esports-wise. The game had tournaments, but it did not have a following. And in last year, I watched a company, I'm not going to say who, obviously you know who it is, completely change a game from nobody caring competitively to watching the game just become an esports juggernaut. And a few things came into that, and I think it's a couple of things that Battlefield players, Battlefield streamers need to take into account here. First of all, for esports to thrive nowadays, I believe that it comes down to viewership, developer support, and possibly making sure that you're playing the right game type or a game type that's worth watching. In Battlefield 3, I absolutely despise playing Squad Rush. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a great game type. I know people absolutely love it. So, don't get me wrong. You know, for everybody who enjoys that game type, power to you. I did not like it. I didn't think it was a very friendly thing to watch, and I felt like it kind of slowed down Battlefield 3's push into competitive play. Now, here comes the argument. It's really hard to make an 8 vs 8 Conquest team, 10 vs 10, so, you know, that part comes into account. So anyway, a couple things need to be done for Battlefield 4 to succeed as an esport. You need to make sure that your YouTube stars are supportive of the game. It's just so happened that a couple of the top YouTube stars in Call of Duty also were competitive players, so when this recent Call of Duty came out, there was a lot of people a lot of people already watching competitive scrims just because of that. So, you know, if there's a YouTube guy out there who plays competitively, you know, stream Battlefield 4. Put Battlefield 4 towards the top of Twitch. That right there alone is going to get people intrigued in the competitive play. There's one thing you guys need to realize. Whether or not the community is small, you can still have a small competitive community of people who just play, and then you can have another part of that community that just watch. They don't even have to play competitively. They just want to watch because it looks fun. So I'd say a big suggestion to all of you guys when it comes to Battlefield 4 esports, if you have the PC to do it, you stream. If you have, you know, the ability to make videos, make videos. You know, when I first made my videos back in the day, I thought of things like, what could I teach people, and sorry if you hear Xbox sounds, what can I teach people, what can I make people, you know, want to learn about, what I want to learn as a player, and that's what I thought first of all, and that's where I came out with the sprint jumping video, that's where I came out with open-ins, that's where I showed people glitches, and you know, so I got 50 dislikes on some videos, and I got 100 likes on other videos, and it didn't matter to me as long as people were enjoying my videos, and you know, I know that actually at the same time, I think at the same time the X Factor started, and he was doing the same thing with videos, and he was coming out with videos that were like informative and people wanted to watch. So so those players, if you're, like I said, if you're a top player, try and stream, try and make YouTube videos. Your YouTube may not be an overnight success, but it's gonna help grow the esports part of Battlefield 4. Now, obviously, in my opinion, if DICE doesn't support it, if DICE doesn't throw a little bit of money at the game itself, you know, it doesn't even have to be $1 million. It could be a $200,000 tournament. It could be a $100,000 tournament. Something that's going to make people want to watch. Because people love to watch people win a lot of money. Look at all the shows. Look, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? People watch this. People could watch someone become a millionaire. You know, even when COD Champs happened, or these League of Legends tournaments, or Dota, all of them, big tournaments with big money, people watch it. So hopefully DICE can have developer support. And, you know, like huge support when it comes to that stuff. And you know what? With the spectator mode, maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe that's them saying, here is one way for you to do it. Now, I don't know about the whole LAN thing. I know they didn't say there's going to be LAN play, all that stuff, but that doesn't mean tournaments can't happen. Most places now do have internet. You know, you just play on a server that's really close to the venue, so that part is fine. So I do think that Battlefield 4 does have a chance esports-wise, but it's going to be more in the community to build it up. As immature as the Call of Duty community is, they built the game themselves with the help of the developers, and it became a juggernaut, and it's continued to be that way. Battlefield can do the exact same thing, because let's be honest with you. You already know that in 2 years there's going to be a Battlefield 5, so what do? You just keep building your community, because those people are going to go from Battlefield 4 to Battlefield 5, and if you can keep those people watching, you're going to continue to have a very thriving esports game. Now, I also know there's a subject about immaturity in communities. That right there is a double-edged sword to me. Yeah, you don't want people to be immature in a community, but I do think the idea of having teams that are rivals is also a big thing. So, for example, let's say I was on Team Hot. Let's say we absolutely hated Rival. We did not hate Rival. Everybody on Rival was great guys. You know, me typing in a chat to Rivals, hey, you guys suck. I never typed that. I'm not one to start stuff. You know, somebody types that, and then Rivals types back. People, right away, you're already starting a rivalry. People love rivalries in games. People want to see two teams that absolutely hate each other or have disliked each other play each other. At the end of the game, everyone's going to say GG, but you know what? When you go into a game, it's like a story. People love that stuff. So, it may be immature to have that stuff happening, but it doesn't hurt. Now, people going on the forums and talking crap and shutting people away. That stuff's just uncalled for. It's not really worth it, and most of the people who do it, they generally get shunned from the community, or they kind of fall back. Unless you're amazing. I mean, if you're a really good player, like, you know, if you're just a really, really good player, you're talking, more than likely you're still going to stay in a team. Now, I know people like to do these new pug things to get people involved, kind of, you know, get people on. Do that, too. Get people involved any way possible. Just make sure that, you know, this is something that I definitely want to talk about. Sorry, I don't even know what that means. I want to talk about when you start to get people into that type of stuff. Don't just throw them to the side the moment you get, like, oh, hey, let's have a community night. Excuse me. Let's have people come into here. Let's have people just, you know, we'll play with them. We'll get them into the competitive community. And then the next day you stop talking to the people after just doing it one night. You can't do that. You got to talk to these people still. You know what? If you just played with a guy all night and he wasn't the best player, but he comes to you for a question, answer the question. I mean, how is it going to hurt you just taking 10 minutes out of your day to help this guy out? Because that's the person right there that when you start to stream or you stream or you make YouTube videos, he's always going to come back. He's always going to watch your videos because you did something for him. The smallest things you do for somebody comes back in the long run. It's so helpful. When I switch to console competitively, if I ever, you know, become big in console or, you know, do well in console, I already know the 5 people I'm going to thank automatically because they were so helpful to me. They had no reason to help me. They were some of the best players you'll ever see on console, and they helped me, and they shaped me into the player I've become, and they just, right away I would thank those guys because I'll always remember what they did. I always support them. So, you know what? Remember that every person matters. If you're streaming, you have 20 viewers. Love those 20 viewers you have. Those 20 people, if they keep coming back and then 20 more keep coming, keep doing that. So, there's my rambling about the whole Battlefield esports part of the things. Obviously, the last thing, I went a little bit earlier on it. Just make sure you choose the right game types. Make sure that, you know, at the beginning in the first month, first 2 months, just keep as much stuff in the game as possible. Just keep as much stuff in the game. Make the game just make the game, just don't strip it down instantly. Let things be in it, let things be overpowered, let the RPG, if the RPG hits for 100, you know, let it be for a little bit. Obviously get rid of the most ridiculous things that make no sense, but keep as much of the game as you can. It makes it easier for somebody to transition over. Once again, another thing that Call of Duty did, which I hate to bring that game into account, but, you know, for people who know the game, that game had no following. That game, nobody cared if there was a tournament. When there was MLGs, there was 5,000 views. Nobody cared. And now it's the exact opposite. People absolutely love the game. People watch it, and it's continuing to the next game. Last but not least, I will not be playing Battlefield 4 as competitively as I want. I may play in a team just to do it. Obviously, I was a Team Hot guy. I don't think Team Hot is returning. I can't speak for most of the people. I know Michael 3D is not. I know Holly is not. I know... last time I talked to Drunk, he was not. So, a lot of the core of Team Hot isn't going to be returning. Obviously, I wasn't a core of Team Hot. I was on Team Hot in BF3, but if you want to talk about the old Battlefield days, I was not a part of that team. So, obviously, I don't know. But that's about it for the Team Hot things and what I'm doing for Battlefield 4. And feel free to talk to me. You know, add me on Battlelog. You know, that's the best way to contact me right now. I have nothing. I really, unfortunately, I don't really use Steam anymore. My Steam list is full. My Battlelog is close to full. But maybe I'll make a platoon or something if this video actually gets big and people want to, you know some things. Plus, I know people. I know other top players in the community. I can maybe get you with them, talking to them maybe. And last but not least, make sure you guys all go to this website. I'll put it in the description. It's battlefield-esports.com. As you know, I was one of the first supporters of BF3esports.com, which, you know, was for a while was kind of a small hit with the community, and it helped. So make sure you sign up on that website. That website is actually very cool. It's just forums right now, but I know they plan on expanding more stuff. There's a lot of nice people on there. There's an introduce yourself thread. There's a lot of, there's a lot of stuff on there that you need for the competitive scene. Very nice people. They are very big about blocking out trolls too, so don't worry about getting harassed. If somebody does harass you, they'll pretty much be deleted or banned. So really, that's all I have to say. This video is obviously a bit longer than I wanted it to be, but I wanted to get all the stuff in I could. I'm quite the talker. If you know me, I like to talk a lot. So I apologize for that. Obviously in this gameplay, I'm just running around like an idiot shooting people, which is what I usually do. And when I play games, I love to go for objectives. I love to, you'll always see me going for an objective rather than camping in a building. Anybody who knows me, I'm totally against camping in a building. Did nothing wrong with it. I have some weird issue where I need to go for objectives. I need to be the team player, and thankfully I'm able to actually frag out, which it usually helps being a frag. That's what people remember in the early days of Team Hot. We had an infantry squad that had absolutely no selfish players. We all would just dive in and be up in your face, which is a very good strategy to take. And let me do point that I do love domination in this game. I really do. Be kind of fun to see competitively too. I don't know if it will be, but it's still a fun game type. I do think taking vehicles out of a game though is not a good thing in Battlefield. Because you're kind of taking away a portion of viewers and all this fun stuff that you don't want to. I don't know. You guys figure it. You guys, the esports part of them. You guys are the experts. But you know what? If you're somebody who doesn't follow esports but wants to get into it, and you go to that website, as somebody who isn't a part of esports, give them your view. Make a post. Say what you think as a casual fan, as somebody who just wants to watch the game. What do you like? I think that's the biggest thing. Hell, put it in my comments. What do you like? What do you want to see in esports? Because that part can help too. Because I will say this much: the people on the top of esports, they know what they're talking about. Most of the time, they're gonna get it right. But maybe there's one thing that they just are so dead. They're just so headstrong on not on getting rid of it. Maybe if there's enough of you guys saying something to them, that they'll keep it. Maybe it's a simple thing like they ban a gun and the gun should stay. So outside of that, I got nothing else to say. I will be coming out with a couple more videos. Just probably gameplays with guns. Probably a little more in depth about what I feel about the guns in the game itself. And I did already find a couple. Don't worry, I already did find a couple tips and tricks that people want to know. Obviously, those videos are separate. I will say this much: sprint jumping is still in the game. There's a way to do it to where you still have more speed than everybody else, and I feel like the sprint jump, once again, will be a vital thing in competitive play. One thing that I had used a lot when I played. And I know I've said I have nothing else to say like 6 times, but I think that's about it. So, and remember, you can lean in Battlefield 4 now. That's weird as hell. I didn't even know it was in the game. Hooray. I tried leaning, and I thought I was... and why did Battlefield create head glitches? There's so many more head glitches. I don't even get that. Alright, my rant's done. Follow me on Twitter. Look at the description. I have all my Twitter, battle log information, Twitch. Especially Twitch. Watch my Twitch. I will be streaming some Battlefield. And that's about it. So sorry for this big rant. I'm sure most of you didn't make it this far in the video. Till next time. Later.